Hi, my name is Thomas Johnson, and I'm the founder and CEO of GetUpNGetFit Wellness Coaching Concierge. I'm also a C-suite advisor and investor, and you're listening to How May I Serve You, where I'm constantly on the quest to surround myself with the best coaches while learning how to better serve our executive clientele by asking them, How may I serve you? Today's show is sponsored by Get Up and Get Fit. Get Up and Get Fit will be providing students with textbooks and school supplies in Cambodia in honor of our guest today, as well as our philanthropic mission to impact at least 50,000 people per year. Today's guest is Elizabeth Eiss. How you doing, Elizabeth?
Hey, I'm great. Thank you. Well, welcome to the new year. I'm really happy to be here today.
Exactly. Awesome. Awesome. Welcome to the new year, 2022. Exactly. So Elizabeth Eiss is founder and CEO of Results Resourcing, an online talent creation platform that Elizabeth designed and co-developed. Results Resourcing is the freelance job platform that comes with your own recruiter. That's pretty awesome right there. Results Resourcing curates contract talent to help organizations scale and focus on clients' value delivery. She is passionate about empowering the purpose of others. Elizabeth, welcome.
Thank you. So glad to be here. A
Yes,
pleasure.
indeed. So, Elizabeth, I want you to tell us who you are, right? Where you're from, how you got started, but the 2 minute version.
Well, hey, essentially, like many of us, I spent years, decades in corporate America. And about 20 years ago, I was bitten by entrepreneurship and I up and left to join my first startup. And I've really been in the entrepreneurship world ever since. And I've always been fascinated by, how do you staff young entrepreneurial organizations with great talent? And
Mm,
that's really what has ended up been being my focus for the past 15 years. And that's what
okay.
resulted in results resourcing, which is really all about helping small businesses get matched with vetted virtual freelancers who are also small business people
Yes.
for all intents and purposes. So it's making that great match allows each other to serve each other and allows me to serve small business and helping them get more done with great talent.
Awesome. So, Elizabeth, where are you from? Like, where
I
did you
am
grow up?
I am really a nomad. I was in a family of educators, but unusual for educators, we didn't stay in one place. My parents were teachers, principals, superintendent of schools, university professors, and we moved. And then, when I graduated from high school and college, I joined corporate America and I kept moving. So I've pretty much lived all over the United States. I don't know, I've kind of lost count. It's probably, I don't know, 15 different houses.
15 hours.
And I live in New York City now. And, it's a very, international city full of people from all over the world. And it's oddly enough, I really feel like I came home moving to New York.
Yes, indeed. New York is the boiling pot of all various cultures and demographics, right? I love New York.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, indeed. So, Elizabeth, since COVID, a lot of people have been displaced, and also I realized a lot of individuals have realized that they need to work with the organization that serve their purpose, right? That have similar values. Have you find that your company has been working more, have been providing more sourcing of staff for these individuals? Has there been a boom in work for you guys?
Um, yeah, I would say in many respects, yes, and it's trending in a very positive direction in terms of our growing our company and serving
Okay.
more clients and freelancers. And what's interesting is that before COVID, while our mission was always to help smaller businesses because they're the ones that just don't have the resources that big companies do, and they
Hmm.
can't attract the kind of high level talent, from a salary and benefit standpoint, but they still need it if they're going to really, have an impact, in their communities and grow their businesses. And so before COVID, many of those businesses really were reluctant to work with virtual resources. It was
Mm,
just easier to have somebody come into the office and sit down. And a lot of that was because they didn't have the tools and probably hadn't written down processes and things like that. And with COVID, it really kind of made everybody have to move into the virtual world. So now the focus on virtual freelancers and how they can add value is more and more a great idea to a lot of companies. And in fact, a lot of people are choosing not to go back to offices and starting their own businesses. And they either need freelancers or they are providing freelance services in whatever their area of expertise is. So it's a really dynamic, exciting time. And it's fun to be that kind of matchmaker, in the middle, because the hardest thing is always finding each other.
Yes,
And,
good talent.
And that's really the service we end up providing.
You know what you do is such an essential service. It's been, I call it, I consider it essential. I think it's extremely important, right? Myself personally, my company leverages freelancers, right? We have freelancers in Dubai, in the Philippines, and etc. And working with freelancer has actually been extremely beneficial, right? It helps to stretch things out. For instance, when I'm sleeping, I know my employees in other countries out there still getting the job done, right?
Yeah.
So for your company, do you guys work only within the States or do you work worldwide?
We work in North America.
Okay.
And that really was driven for two big reasons, or maybe three. One was, frankly, most of our small and mid-sized businesses, once they stopped thinking about price as the driver, and they started thinking more about value and how they could deliver value to their clients, they started to appreciate the fact that having, whether content writers or customer service reps or a virtual assistant or a software developer who understood particularly US culture was really important. There was less translation. You obviously don't have the time issues, even though, people in other parts of the world, accommodate, US time zones, but there were just a lot of reasons. And with more and more US workers working virtually, we've ended up really focusing on US and Canadian clients and freelancers. And that's really been a demand issue. But we've also found that, basically it's complicated to do business with freelancers in other parts of the country if you're not set up to understand the payment and the tax and the regulation and things like that. And frankly, there are also security risks.
Yeah.
There's security risks in the United States too, if you're opening up your CRM or your email system to any kind of talent, whether it's an employee or a freelancer. But you add to that with some countries less stable, and there's some risk there that we decided we didn't want to expose ourselves to or our clients and freelancers.
Understood. So the majority of your clientele, what industry do you typically work with?
You name it. We help people from a lot of consultants, group therapy practices.
Okay.
E-commerce businesses, consulting firms, all kinds of things you'd expect. But we have riding academies, horseback riding academies.
Oh, wow.
Road race running organizations. It's just the gamut is all over the place, because almost any small business needs a virtual assistant, or they need someone to help them with social media or with marketing or writing content, and so really the skill needs are universal. And what we try to do when we make our matches is focus on, business skills, say copywriting, but then what tools does the client have? Like, do they have a particular CRM system or website format? And then we also try to look for things that are work style matches or industry matches, people that maybe have experience in a particular industry that can just bring that value to the table automatically, rather than having to learn how to write about the medical profession or COVID or whatever it might be. So it's really trying to look at those three things: business skills, tools, and work style and industry expertise combined, because that's what really makes the great match.
So essentially, you guys are matchmakers.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Matchmakers.
That's awesome right there. Yeah, because in the beginning, when I was transitioning my company, I found it hard to source the right talent. and there was a lot of trial and error. You know, if I
Oh
was
yeah.
working with you guys, it would have made my life easier.
Well, you know, that's the funny thing about technology. I mean, in the one sense, you know, everybody's got a phone, so it's do it yourself, but that doesn't mean you should, because while you can technically do it yourself, you know, it may not be the best use of your time. I mean,
Right.
particularly when it comes to recruiting, for most people, recruiting, while it's really important and getting great talent is super important, the activity itself of recruiting, sourcing, interviewing, that's kind of probably a low ROI activity for most companies. And so if you can find somebody, I mean, obviously I'm biased, but if you can find somebody that's expert at it, you know, it's probably worth that investment, because, you know, we source virtual assistants all the time. And you know, so it's what's easy. Plus we also have the infrastructure and the tools, and, you know, we're LinkedIn recruiters. I mean, a lot of advantages to use the systems and tools we have that can be leveraged across a lot of clients. But you'd never want to become a LinkedIn recruiter yourself, but it has a lot of advantages to
Yes,
finding
indeed.
great people.
So, Elizabeth, how long have you had your company? Have you been in this space for a long time, or were you in a different industry prior to coming to the career recruiting industry? Like, talk to me about that.
Well, we launched our first platform in 2017. You know,
Okay.
so we've been around for a little while. Still a young company, but you know, we're very agile, very dynamic. We really pay attention to what makes it easier for clients and freelancers to get matched. So we have a very agile technology. It's very dynamic and modular, so it makes it easy to make changes, to make work processes simpler. And we started building it in 2012. So it took a few years. It's very, very robust, very secure. And, you know, it's not only a matchmaking platform, but it's an operating platform. So
Nice.
there's the human beings that work for us are expert recruiters, but that's really what they do on the system. The system does all the work. There's not a single piece of paper that got pushed at the company, because we've automated pretty much everything.
Wow.
But that keeps the costs down. So when people come to us, you know, what they pay for are services that are directly related to the end result, which is matched talent to their needs. They're not paying for our overhead and, you know, invoicing and all that kind of stuff. It's just part of the system. So that really arose out of the inspiration I had early on. I mentioned before that I had been in another industry. I was actually in the insurance industry, which was a fascinating, interesting to start out in. And that was my career, because I was in the commercial lines area. So I was a risk underwriter at the very beginning. And all I did was learn about what made a good business run well and what made a bad business have losses. And so it was a really great educational experience. And I ended up running businesses for several insurance companies. And during that whole time, I'd been really interested in the notion of what's called expertise location. And the first startup I joined was really trying to build, you know, a call center in the cloud. And so it doesn't sound novel today, but in the year 2000, it was very novel to really think about building technology that could link experts that were deep in organizations, but could be made available using technology, because a knowledge worker is never going to sit in a call center. But so that, you know, so that was kind of what got me started. And, you know, not all startups work out, you know, and, you know, for a variety of reasons that one didn't. But I was hiring a lot of freelancers for that company and for other companies I consulted with. And at the end of the day, what was happening is I would find them on some of the named platforms today. And, you know, the client would say, "Oh, that Thomas is awesome. Can you find me a Thomas?" That's really how it started. And of course, I could find that client a Thomas, but I had to figure out a way how to scale that. And that's what led me to think about building a technology platform, but recognizing how important the human touch was, and how can I make the human touch affordable?
Yeah, everything matters, right? Your experience from your previous companies and the trials and errors made you who you are right now. It equipped you with the information you needed to create your company. you
Yeah.
know? So
Absolutely. Just like
my
you.
mantra is everything matters.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Elizabeth, I know you're big when it comes to automation, which is amazing, but I want you to share with us, what does a typical week look like as an executive, as the CEO of your company? What does it look like?
Well, that's actually one of my favorite questions. I mean, and it starts for me with planning.
Okay.
But planning is fun. It's like figuring out, how you want to spend your time. And that's actually something that I talk about a lot in workshops that I give, about this notion of the value of time. Like, whether you're paying yourself or not, every hour you spend is an investment in whatever you're doing. And so when I plan, I'm thinking about what are the most important things I need to get done in any given week or month. And what I do first is I break out what are the core activities of my business. And to me, a core activity is, what is a client going to pay me for? And if the client's not going to pay me for it, then it's not core. And I have to figure out ways that other people besides me can do it for me, that are perhaps more expert at it even than I am. And so that's really what I do is I'm constantly thinking about it. What's the best use of my time? So I get, and not that I'm completely financially oriented, but it's like an impact too, the impact you can create from your time, not in addition to the financial return you can achieve from your time. And so, I love my calendar. I love my mind maps. I organize myself and just
Are you color
generally.
coordinated?
Pardon me?
Are you that person that use color to coordinate every single task?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's fun because, at a glance, I can look at, I use Outlook.
Okay.
And I can look at my Outlook calendar, and if it, green and yellow means something that's either revenue generating or client focused. And
Ooh,
I
okay.
like to see a sea of green and yellow on my calendar. And then I frankly do have a lot of what's commonly known as white space, because I try to build some white space in throughout the day, every day, and especially on Fridays for thinking and a little break time, a little catch up time, because I think that's really important to mental health and well-being, is to make sure you have some break time too.
Yeah, let's dive on that subject, because sometimes we are so regimented, we are constantly on the go, right? How important do you think taking the time to step back to assess and clear your mind is as a high performer?
I think it's critical, because I think that all of us, including me, can get on the hamster wheel. You just get grinding at things, and I happen to also be pretty good at concentrating, but that's good and bad, because I can get into the zone, and all this time goes by, and so it's what I've tried to do is find ways to pace myself, and I actually started using my alarm on my phone, because I would you must be on that too. I would set my alarm for, I don't know, a certain period of time in advance of the next thing I had, to like get me out of the zone if I had to like change direction. But I've also used it to kind of like remind myself, okay, it's time to go get up from my desk and take a walk, or, go take a breather or do something else. Because I find when I do that and I come back, I'm automatically in a fresh mode and looking at whatever I'm trying to do with, a fresh outlook, which means better ideas. And many times I see things I didn't see before because I was too zoned in on whatever it was I was doing. So I think it's good for health and mental health and frankly, creativity.
Yes, I'm over here beaming as you speak, because I do the exact same thing. I use my alarm clock to disrupt my patterns as well, and it's so helpful, especially if you're sitting for such a long time. You are restricting blood flow. It's harder for you to think because of the blood flow restriction, and sometimes we will get these brain fog without us understanding why we getting brain fog. It's because we're not moving our bodies. So you have to get up, you have to move. We are built to move. We have various hinges and joints to move our bodies. So I'm glad you are practicing these healthy habits. Kudos to you. Continue pushing forward.
Oh, well, it sounds like I could learn some lessons from you, but at least I'm on the right path.
Awesome. So What drives you, Elizabeth?
Well, I consider myself a purpose-driven person.
Okay.
I want and need to be doing things that I find have purpose and
Mm-hmm.
that will provide benefit in the world. And so when I think about results resourcing, it's very much a purpose-driven business. I mean, my purpose is to empower the purpose of others. And it
Mm.
sounds like maybe a little confusing, but not, in the sense that I have tools and experience and an infrastructure now where I can help make it easier for people to hire the talent they need to accomplish their purpose. And
Yeah.
so I'm able to empower that because I can provide, as you said, how may I serve you? I can serve you by helping you define your job description, because we do it all the time and you might
Mm-hmm.
do it once a year. So we can help you get clear about what you're looking at. Because if you're not clear in terms of what kind of talent you're looking for, you'll never find it. But a
You're
lot of
absolutely right.
people don't really spend time on that step and then get frustrated that they didn't find the person, or they hired somebody and then there were miscommunications. It's often because they weren't on the same page to begin with. So that's part of my purpose, is to help people get clear on the resources that they need and the best way to go find them. Then we go find them and we make those great matches between the business owner and the freelancer. So we really empower the purpose of the freelancer too,
Mhm.
because they want to work with great clients on
Yes,
interesting
indeed.
projects. They're not widgets. And
Mhm.
they want to be treated as the talent that they are and the business people they are. And so, it just makes me feel good to know that, I'm deploying, what interests me and, what we've built with results resourcing to help people, more other businesses, grow and have better impact, for whatever their purpose is.
Yes, indeed. That sounds awesome right there. You know what? I'm a big fan of Dan Sullivan, and he wrote a book called Who Not How. And ever since I read that book, I've been following the same type of structure, because with what you're doing right now, you're providing the who's to accomplish the hows, right?
Mhm.
Getting the right talents, the right professionals that are able to fully execute the task proficiently, right? And that's what it's about. It's about being able to connect with the right professionals. It seems like your service provide the right professionals. You guys are able to connect the various corporations and companies to the various freelancers, which is amazing, and we all, us as executives, us as business owners, we all could benefit from having a source like you, like your company. So thanks for coming on. Thanks for sharing your story.
Thank
So
you.
last but not least, I want to ask you, how may I serve you?
Well, you already served me by being interested in what we're doing and giving me the opportunity to speak with you about it and your audience. And I the only way that you can serve me more is really to allow others to hear our message, and you know we would love to help your community, and
Awesome.
to allow us to serve your community. It starts with a free consult. We really, on our website, resultsresourcing.com, or .net, they both go to the same place. There's
Mhm.
a place to click free consult, and I love talking to people about what they're trying to accomplish and what they need to do it. And even if a freelancer isn't the right place, it's really great to be able to share what we've learned over the years and help people make better decisions about how they can get the expertise they need. So just by allowing us to make this offer to your community is fabulous. I really appreciate it.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And thank you. So the website you just mentioned, do you mind mention one more time? I just want to make sure everyone understand where they need to go to connect with you, and also to connect with your platform and your company.
Okay, great. It's the company is called Results Resourcing, and we named it that. This will make it easy to remember because we resource results. And that's an important distinction, because I'm really not about helping you find a warm body. I'm about helping you achieve the result you want.
The end
And
goal.
so that's really why we named the company that. So it's results resourcing .net or .com. It'll all get you to the right place. Or you
Awesome.
can just look me up on LinkedIn, Elizabeth Eiss, and you'll see the information there.
Yeah, there's only one Elizabeth Eiss, folks, so it will be hard to find Miss Eiss right now on LinkedIn.
Oh, you're too
So
kind.
Elizabeth, thank you for coming on, and I'd like to thank all of our listeners and viewers for lending us the ears and the eyeballs. And last but not least, make sure to come on and check all the episodes, and also to follow Elizabeth. Right, everyone could benefit from a freelancer or contractor, and Elizabeth has an amazing service that she's using to help so many other professionals out there. So make sure to look her up, connect with her, and make sure to tune in for next week's episode. One love. We're out. Take care. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's.